Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
So for 8 hours or 9 hours or 10 hours, when you say that the mean time between failure is 8 hours, it means on an average for 8 continuous hours your infrastructure will not have any failure. So these are the matrices that will measure that particular thing. Okay, so they say that different service has different SLA. Okay, so let us talk about what are the, and this is very interesting concept. Now we are coming to a very interesting thing, that is Azure front door. What it is, I have a slide for it that can make you this is interesting and this is a bit complex as well. Okay, so that's why I thought to find out some good diagram that can represent it. Some images just I found out. So basically your application is here on any server in New York and user is in Miami. Okay, so a guy in Miami is accessing, or multiple people in Miami, they are accessing an application which is there in New York. Okay, now what is the traditional approach, or as for example you have to go to New York to Miami, what is the option you have? Number one option is you will take a car and you will go to Miami, a traditional approach. It means you are not doing anything extra, just on internet. You are on internet, you are browsing a site from Miami and that site is hosted in New York. So this is like a car, nothing, right? This is a normal scenario that it is point to point contact kind of thing that is happening, one to one contact happening in open network, it is happening on internet, it is happening any guy from Miami, and that network is global network, right? Internet, and across the world, not only for that application, it is getting used for anything. Internet is a common thing for all of us, but this is quite time taking. This will take more time. Obviously this has its own challenges, less secured as well because it is open. Now the next thing is the concept of POP. Okay, that is called point of presence. Now what you do, you take a flight to Miami airport. Okay, that is point of presence concept, and then you reach Miami. So this is another way, right? So there is a POP there and you reach to that uh, point of presence, and there you again reach. So what is the difference between this and this? Number one, you reach quicker here in comparison to that, and then what is the another advantage is that you can reuse the network bandwidth, because this can be reused, but at one point, at one time, multiple people can, multiple connections can be set, so 100, and this time, in this case it has to be 1000. It gives you a kind of um, better scale and reusability when you use this POP. Okay, now That's okay. So there is a, with that it is connected to a particular point it connects, and from that point you reach there. Okay. So now it's like you have a, now this thing comes into picture when you have a special network, exclusive network that is there, and then you use that network, that is Microsoft network. You are not into external network, you are into Microsoft network, and your traffic is completely within Microsoft network. Okay, so in that case it has more resiliency overall, and from this front end, this whole concept of front door comes into picture. Okay, so this you have your backup and then you can move to that. Overall, when you say front door, you are completely into Microsoft network. Okay, so if any kind of you reach to a particular IP address, and then if one failure is there, then you can hit to the other option overall. So in general, this is what the front door concept is. Let us come back to this particular thing, and now if you will try to go through the this part what they are writing, now it will be more clear to you. So Azure front door offers a fast, reliable and secure modern cloud content delivery network by using Microsoft Global Edge network. So when you say Azure front door, the network that is getting used is Microsoft network completely to integrate with intelligent threat protection, and then it is definitely it's a Microsoft's own network. It's not on a lying on a lying open to be used by all. It is exclusive for the Microsoft hosted applications. Okay, so definitely there is optimization happens. Front door can be used to provide another level of reliability. It is an application delivery network that provides global load balancing and site acceleration service for web application. And it is one of the questions that these the kind of what are the features that provide. So SSL upload, path based routing, fast failover, caching. So multiple features that they provide. So these terminologies are important, that uh, there is a question as well at the end of that, that you have this requirement. As for example, you need SSL upload, offload. Then what is the, in that case, so these have the path based routing, you have that you know failover. In case of failure, what is failover? In case of failure, how you can recover it? It's your resiliency basically, caching and all. So they provide multiple capability. The reason being that this whole network is controlled by Microsoft completely. Microsoft doesn't control internet, but by Microsoft can be, you can consider it as intranet within Microsoft, maybe obviously intranet is much more secure than internet. So it is like that, they kind of developed a kind environment. And if you will see how they are able to do it, if you will see in the slide here, Microsoft has 54 regions worldwide. When you say region, what it means, it is not a geographical region. It is that when you query, right, when you hit internet, when you want to hit a particular site, what is the time it takes to hit that particular endpoint? So based on that, the regions are defined. It's a, perhaps it's a 2 microsecond to or millisecond. Within that range it comes, then it becomes a region. Okay, 100,000 plus miles of fiber cable they have. They have 138 sites and they have different partners. So due to that, you can see Microsoft in itself has its own network, completely Microsoft owned network or Microsoft's partner network that is there. Okay, so now you see, now whole thing, whatever you see, right? You are into Azure DNS completely, the Azure Active Directory is there, and then you enter into the Microsoft network, this Azure via the Azure front door. Now there are two reasons. Now your application, same application within the Microsoft network is hosted in two different regions, whole application, okay, your complete application end to end, it is hosted here as well as this is hosted there. Whatever region that is currently up and running, that region is called active region, and whatever it means your primary region. And in case this active region becomes unavailable, the stand-up region becomes active in that case. Okay, so users are connecting to an app hosted on custom domain. This Azure front door is implemented at the edge location. Initially the app is hosted in the primary region, so initially here is it is then, and then so all the routes, all these you can say front door is a gate, right? Because it's a Microsoft owned network completely. Okay, and entering, now you are entering to Microsoft owned network, then there is a gate that is there via which you enter it, definitely, and then from that it is routed to the current active region, and in case of failure it will go to the your, and this is what it says: if app running in that region becomes unavailable, front door fails over the secondary region. So it's a kind of responsibility of the front door to move to the other region, standby region, in case of failure. So the term that they used is primary and secondary region, that is clear to you. Front door is routing the incoming traffic. Okay, first it routes to the primary and then it will route to your secondary region. And then the replication, as per example, the database, as per example, now if you want to basically this active region has the latest database and all the updated database. So now these things are okay, function app and all are kind of something that is the part of the code, and that is not going to change in different region. In case of change, you will deploy the fresh code again. But database is something that is ongoing, that is continuously changing. So there is a need of replication in that continuously. From, if you say app service, function app, these are application specific, these are your code specific. So these will not change unless and until there is a change in code. But database, you get a query, then in database it is stored. There is a need of geo replication. So in case of geo, there are three terms that it talks about. Now there are certain terms that comes in it. It is, one is cold, one is hot. Okay, one is cold, one is hot. What cold means? And you see the word here, hot, cold. What it means in terms of the here when we talk about it, what is hot, what is cold? Hot means, uh, how can I give you a real-time example? Okay, okay, as for example, you are in movies, right? As for example, in movies there are burglars, right? And they have a backup plan that in case our plan fails, we will fled away. There will be a guy whose car is up and running. It's always it's up and running. We will just fled and we will just enter in that car and we will fled away. This is called hot scenario, where the backup even standby is up and running. It is not stopped. Your application and everything. This is the running instance. This is ready. This has the continuous replication as well happening. So you don't this standby don't need to prepare. Don't need to prepare in this case. Okay. So this thing is called hot. The second type of standby is cold. This is down. It will come into picture only when you will fail, and then it will start. Only when it will start, only when start working, only when your primary will fail. Start working means it will first do that tdate setup to begin with. It will start its engine, then it will go. It is like that. So this is the term cold means, and there this term you are going to hear a lot of time. Traffic goes to one region while the other waits on the hot standby. It is up and running. Okay. As soon as there is a failure, your other reason or your other application, your backup is up and running. It is ready. It will take no time. In case of the primary reason failure. Okay. Now active passive with cold standby, what it means? Traffic goes to one region, other is standby, fine. Cold standby means the VM in the secondary region aren't allocated until needed to failover. Even VM is not allocated. Nothing is there. It will come into picture only when there is a failure. Then there might be an ARM template. Resource will be created. Everything will be done that time in case of failure. Yeah, there is an automation. It will not. It will take much less time, definitely, because it is anyway it is a backup plan. It will not take much time, but in general the setup will be needed. You are not incurring the hard in this case of hot standby. As for example, you are using a virtual machine, you have a standby that is hot. It means you have to pay around for two virtual machine, even if you are using one for the server, just for the backup purposes. In case of failure purposes, you are one additional resource is allocated to you. So hot is costly. Even standby is hot. It is costly, definitely, in terms of your number of nines. Okay, it will be 99.99 or 19.999. Depends upon the case, depends upon the service. But this is now in cold, that will not happen. Active means load balancing. Both are active, both are up and running. Okay, means you have multiple servers, and that happens, right? On one server there is a load, then there will be a load balancer server, and load will be allocated across. As for example, I don't know, you worked on Elasticsearch. We talked about that example before as well. So they have the backup nodes, and backup nodes are kind of similar to the primary nodes. Okay, there are theoretical differences, but traffic can run on it. Your application is running on it in the most cases, even on the backup. So it is that there is nothing secondary in that case. So both regions are actually, both are kind of a primary. So whenever you are unavailable, then another comes into picture. So overall, that is comes into picture. Three terms that is important for the high availability. This is very important thing overall. What is active passive? What is active passive with cold standby, and what is active active? Active passive is your uh, active passive with hot standby is your standby is also your VM and everything allocated. You have the resources there available. Okay, so your whole setup is ready. As soon as the failure occurs, you can move back to that. There is no need of allocation and anything separate. You can move up to that. Active passive is in case of failure, your the secondary, your standby is not needs allocation and everything is not done. You have to allocate and then it will start. Standby will start. You need to do the, Microsoft needs to do the setup, what all for that. Active is you don't have the standby concept is not there. It's a load balancing. There are multiple servers. If and the traffic, if it is more or for one, it will be distributed, or traffic will be evenly distributed. So that these are the three approaches that is getting worked on that. Okay. Now, the next concept is Azure Traffic Manager. So, in general, when we have a kind of, I don't know, I have this diagram or not. Okay. Anyways, so overall, this is creating a network. Basically, you are means in this particular case, you have global network, you have regional networks. Overall, means this throughout the world it is there. It is a particular reason you have application gateway. Now in this case, in Traffic Manager, what happens is globally there is a traffic manager, okay, and then your application, if any user wants to reach to your application, that request will first go to the traffic manager. Okay, now the traffic manager routes that request to proper means it will do the load balancing based on that. So overall this is a load balancing concept. Okay, so what it provides, traffic manager, basically it's an endpoint. So it all the traffic that comes, all the HTTP request that comes is routed via traffic manager. Okay, but this is DNS based. Okay, so you can distribute based on your service, particular service basically. So because, and that's what the DNS is based, DNS based load balancing service, it load balance only at a domain level. Okay, it cannot balance load out of domain, means overall at HTTP level or overall internet level overall in general. So it is specific to that. Okay, so it is less reliable than front door, obviously, because there is no network that is there. You don't have the infrastructure, you don't have the network infrastructure. You are just routing your traffic from the traffic uh, manager. So that is there as part of that. So you see, there are two ways when you reach. There is a browser, you are a user. Okay, and then one way is the means you are directly connecting to the internet, the common way, right? Normal way that you are directly connecting to the net. Another way is, in this case, maybe this endpoint is occupied completely. Okay, so it may be possible that your request may not be served because this is occupied. You will get access to only one endpoint. Another is that you raise a query. Now there is a DNS service, and then DNS service sends that request to the traffic manager. Now traffic manager, based on the load, can direct the traffic to endpoint 1, endpoint 2, because traffic manager has visibility to this endpoint, and also there are nested traffic and 2 other endpoints as well. So kind of a switch, and via that switch it can have that. So overall there is this DNS, your traffic manager is basically used for load balancing purposes, and again this is for the high availability scenario. Okay, and again the same concept that will come into picture. Active passive with cold. Here the term is, another term is the pilot, or active passive with warm. Overall we will continue on traffic manager because this will take some time. Okay, so we will continue on that in next session overall. But this particular topic is business continuity solution, is a bit extensive topic. And it will take, it is, and it's saying as well, there is a 57-minute read overall. So we will continue on that, and mostly it is kind of conceptual thing. We will be discussing it overall tomorrow again on this concept. Okay.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan, and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.